You are listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast, a podcast by diehard fans for fans. Mark covers all things Penn State football and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as anything related to the sports and fitness world. Tune in weekly to listen to a couple of dedicated fans talk about these topics without filters. Thank you for listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast.
All right, I guess we're in. Sorry about the intro, guys. It was slow. But did Penn State earlier with Brett and Matt from Penn State jerseys, and then got Steelers tonight with Jared. It's been a while.
It's been a long time, bud.
Yeah,
hey, everybody.
I think the last time we did it was that's the wrong headline. Not Kodal Nicky. Let me see here. Right there. All right. I got it.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it was before the Eagles game the last time we did this. A lot's happened since then. I mean, there's a lot going on with the NFL. We're gonna do a pregame show tomorrow at 7 for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Are you gonna come on, Jared?
Is that at 7 p.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, that'd be no problem.
Oh, you can? All right.
Yeah.
So we doing that tomorrow with Anthony Howard of Free Dog Sports. Jared will be on. Do it every year with Anthony, pretty much. He's a Chiefs fan. So obviously his team's been to the Super Bowl the past 3 years. But yeah, some stuff to cover here. Steelers, same song and dance, made it to the first round, lost. The story's pretty much Mike Tomlin. There's been several conversations about that and his future and everything. So yeah, man. What do you think about how it ended the season? What do you think about going into the off season here? I mean, it's, again, it's just literally the same thing again. So I'm going to pull up some clips. Kyle Brandt talked a little bit about the Steelers.
Yeah. When what came down to the wild card, I didn't even watch. That really was where it all went down, where we just limped into the playoffs again, didn't win a single game after the Browns. Like, we were going into the Eagles, so much expectation, and it was like, yeah, we're finally a contender, and we actually can put ourselves in the same position as the Bills and the Chiefs. And I forgot, Mike Tomlin is the head coach. And Mike Tomlin, I think if you had a choice of dancing with the devil and trying to come up with offensive schemes for that team, I really don't know which way he would go. Like, dude, he's a great defensive coach. I very much appreciate, what he can attribute to that team defensively. He always wants to have the best and highest paid, defense. And did it all matter? It gave you nothing. Like, it gave you all those players got their money. That's pretty much the only thing that was guaranteed. Didn't give us anything to look forward to, because in the end, that's what really ruined the season. Like, the defense just completely fell apart by the end of the season because they were so tired of probably and exhausted just trying to keep up with whatever the offense wasn't giving them. Like, it really was a very inconsistent offensive plan, but it was so simple too. It was like, what, you ran on first down, you ran on second down, you ran on third down, you ran on 10th down, you ran on 146th down. I mean, that's pretty much what it will come to. And if you had a chance to make it third and long every time, I don't know why they think that is like the way to go, but that's really what it all came down to. The offense was so easy to figure out. Arthur Smith did not give you a lot of plays in the middle of the field. Again, the tight ends did not get used where it should have been and the Mike Williams thing is the biggest eye-opener to me, because you had brought in a guy to make some sort of impact. And ever since that day, he caught that beautiful moon ball in Washington. That was like the last you saw of that man. He probably showed up maybe 2 or 3 plays for the rest of the year. And it's like, Why? Why weren't you using that wide receiver that you obviously needed? Because you could not use Roman Wilson, who apparently was out for the entire year. That was the bigger mystery, too, because he was a rookie sensation that should have done something. And they never used him because he kept getting hurt. I never really understood the injury. And I don't get it. I mean, that is right there the whole bigger problem. Like the misusage of players and just Mike Tomlin not really owning up to anything because all they did was just kind of say that this wasn't what we needed. We weren't what we should have been. Like, I don't know. I just feel like they didn't have a whole lot of answers and nothing changed. In the offseason, I could not believe when I saw that the next day after the wild card game, like Art Rooney came on and made sure us Steeler fans knew that Tomlin wasn't leaving. Like that was like the first thing he brought up. And I was just like, how? How can that be the case? This man has done virtually nothing in 3 years. Virtually. I mean, all he has done is give himself more wins than losses. That is the only thing he has secured. I understand we have had the carousel of bad quarterback and or inconsistent quarterback, but you've had the same defensive coordinator for that many years, and they have dwindled defensively as a team. Like when Terrell Austin came into the Steelers, we were the 9th best defense in the league, and then we went to like 12th or 13th. Then we went to 16th, and I think we ended this year with 20th. And I'm like, how many years have we been in that kind of situation defensively? We've always been one of the better defenses in the NFL, at least halfway. Like we've always been 15th or higher all the time. I don't think I've ever heard of us going that far down in the numbers, and it showed. There was a lot of things that were given up. Rushing defense, pass, everything was just doubled, tripled what the numbers usually have been. And you're telling me you can't make a change? What more do you need? I mean, I just feel like there's absolutely no reason to say what went down this year and last year. That's like you had Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and you never used them correctly. You always had Justin Fields as an option, and you never threw him in for like a series or just one down where it's like you needed to have some trick play that he could run the ball, because that's what we always talk about being with Najee and Jalen. And it's like, oh my God, dude, I don't understand how they can just misuse everyone so badly. And this is what the end result was. The only 2 guys that I really enjoyed watching this year were Chris Boswell and maybe Jalen Warren. Like everybody else, it just seemed like they really fell below the waist. It was just unbelievable what had transpired at the end of the season. And now we're just going to see a bunch of who knows, because, dude, again, we have so much to talk about this offseason because there is so much to get right. And Omar Khan, that's another thing. I love what this man has done in the draft, but you can't tell me in the last 5 or 6 drafts that we have had a good first-round pick. You can't tell me that have not worked out. Now, I'm not putting in Troy Fautanu in this situation because he is not, he got hurt. So, I mean, that can happen. But everyone else, it just feels like a bust. It just feels like they have never lived up to the hype. And now we're talking about every single need. This draft, dude, you're talking quarterback, wide receiver, running back, quarterback even. I mean, you're not guaranteed anything, even with Justin Fields. And it's like, how do you know they're going to use them correctly? Like, there's just so many tangibles, variables that go into what the Steelers, I guess, want to be, and they know what they want to be, and they're not telling us. Like the fans, again, if they know something, we are not apparently going to know ever, because they just love to make us guess as much as the opponent. So it's very, very tough to be a Steeler fan right now, and I just don't have a clue where we're going. For the first time in a long time, dude, I have no idea where the Steelers are going to be in the next 5 years.
Well, yeah, we're going to be mediocre as usual. That's for sure. All right, so I'm going to pull this up. Just our draft history and the oddity that it is. Looks like we got some comments, so I'll pull them up. But
Yep.
So that's our draft history right there.
Okay.
A part of it, at least. As you can see. So Mac Jones, free agency, stunned the world. Yeah, I don't want him. That's for sure. All right, so Troy Fatuanu, haven't seen him play. Broderick Jones,
One game.
wouldn't
Says
call
one game.
Yeah. Joey Porter Jr., he's good. Darnell Washington, he's doing pretty good.
Yep.
Kenny Pickett, obviously, horrendous pick. Why they ever did that, I don't know. And here's the thing, man. Like you can see this and be like, oh, a lot of these guys play. It's like, yeah, well, that doesn't mean it's a good thing.
Right.
Kenny Pickett bust. George Pickens, diva receiver. Calvin Austin, decent. Connor Hayward, just a piece in the puzzle. Najee Harris, bust. Pratt Freiermuth, what's he done? I mean, Dan Moore, okay. Chase Claypool, gone. Alex Highsmith, obviously pretty good.
Yep.
Devin Bush, bust.
Oh.
Terrell Edmonds,
Watson,
bust.
Oh my gosh! Look at that whole draft for that season. Look at the whole thing. I mean, it's almost like every one of them was a bust that year.
T.J. Watt, bust. Just kidding. Hall of Famer, obviously. Juju gone. Cam Sutton, James Conner gone. Artie Burns, total bust. Bud Dupree, no longer with us. Brian Shazier, unfortunately. He could have probably been a Hall of Famer, man. He was that good. But then these are the years where we should have been winning and we didn't because Mike Tomlin, yeah. Dree Archer, probably the fastest guy in the world at that time.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything. Martavius Bryant, gone. Jarvis Jones could have been really good, but he had back issues. He was taking over Le'Veon Bell, or not Le'Veon Bell. We got Le'Veon Bell in this draft, but Jarvis Jones was taking over Manti Te'o.
Yep.
David DeCastro, pretty good. Cam Hayward, good.
I mean, that's
Marcus
it. I mean,
Pouncey,
I'm just saying, you look at like probably 2011 is where it's like that's where it's all at because again, Cam's one. I don't know. I think he's like 1 or 2 years away from having that be it. I mean, I'm just saying, you look at everyone from 2011 up. It's like there has maybe been truly, I mean, 3 or 4 classes that may actually have been worthy of like putting themselves in that area that you could put yourself in the playoffs, maybe like be a good team like consistently. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely eye-opening where it's like you look at like at least maybe Troy Fautanu, you can't say for sure yet. Zach Frazier, it was great this year. He was a great rookie sensation, I thought. Best center like rookie in the entire league. Peyton Wilson, really great surprise in that sense. Like they let him go that much down in the.
To answer this guy's question,
I mean,
he said, "Are you for real? If you think Najee Harris is a bust, I don't know about your credibility." Okay, you don't know about my credibility. That's. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. So I don't even know.
See, I'm personally on the fence.
How is
like
he
I'm
not
personally.
A bust?
I mean, listen. I think that when you have a healthy offensive line, those things can, make it better for you. Obviously, like there's certain guys that require a line, and I think that Najee is just one of those backs that he's strong, he's big, like he's massive, like that's just he wants to plow, and there are just times where I don't know. It's an inconsistent thing. It's hit or miss where he wants to get through the line, like rip through a hole, but it's just like then there are times where he'll dance around. And it's like he'll lose yardage. Like it's not consistent. But when you watch Jaylen Warren, dude, like it's a good 90% of the time you watch how he runs through the line or runs through a hole. He is zipping through. He is not hesitating. He just flies. So I mean, it does make a difference when a guy doesn't make the right decisions all the time, or it's not consistent. Like I'm on the fence. Like
All right,
when he's
so-
good, like, okay, so there's a thing that someone brought up with the other day with me about Najee, where it's like he's a great screen guy. Like he knows how to catch the ball probably better than running it. And I mean, I remember like the last few years with Big Ben when Najee came into the league, dude, he was constantly catching balls right in the middle of the field, 5 or 7 yards, and running a little more. I mean, that was kind of a specialty they had with him. And dude, they don't do that anymore. Like, I don't know what it is about the middle of the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but you might as well have it be kryptonite for them in the middle of that field because they just don't want to use it ever. So I just think taking that away from Najee also has kind of limited him. So it's like I see where it's like that's the best potential he always had. And when it was good, dude, that was what made it great. Like those year, what was it, 2022, when they had the 3 or 4 games to end the season with, you know, the Ravens and the Raiders. Was that 2022 or 2023?
With what?
When the Steelers ended their season, they needed to get like 3 or 4 wins in a row to end their seasons to get like a good record. I think they got into the playoffs, like they snuck in. Yeah, so I mean, that was the year when they had all the great comebacks. Like, did we just fire Mike Tomlin?
Like us personally, yes.
I mean, I at this point, it's just.
All right. So,
I don't know what to make of
since
it,
Mike
dude.
Tomlin got here, Lawrence Timmons, decent. Lamar Woodley was good, probably better.
Yeah.
Mendenhall, decent. Lima Sweet,
Yep.
total bust. All right, so Lawrence Timmons isn't a bust. Rashard Mendenhall wasn't a bust. Evander Hood, Ziggy Hood was. Marquise Pouncey wasn't. Cam Hayward wasn't. DeCastro,
Nope.
Jarvis Jones bust. Artie Burns bust. Terrell Edmonds bust. Devin Bush bust. Chase Claypool.
Deontay's a bust.
Say bust. Who?
Deontay Johnson.
Yeah. Najee. I'm just talking about first round picks for now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Najee bust. Kenny Pickett, huge bust. So that's 8 players in like, so what, 18 years he's had 8 busts?
Yeah.
That's horrible. I know they
Yep.
have these other picks here that usually end up contributing for sure. But it comes down to Mike Tomlin, his people were going after me. Your front office has a higher success rate with draft picks, to be honest, compared to other teams. We used to. We don't now.
Yeah.
Success with draft picks is actually winning postseason games, and we haven't done that. They play, but again, that doesn't mean it's a good thing. We might just suck. So, would you guys consider Ryan Shazier a bust? His career wasn't long enough to analyze because of his injuries. Yeah, he's not a bust.
He's definitely not a bust.
He had a pretty good resume before he got hurt, unfortunately.
Dude, it's that what could have been, because that is the last true inside linebacker that the Steelers had. And it's like you then had TJ Watt show up, and then you drafted Highsmith, but it's like by the time TJ and them got there, he had already gotten hurt. I'm just saying that was the what could have been, because that defense would have been so stellar. Everything would have been locked up.
Yeah,
Everything would have been.
The thing is, man, we've had all this great talent. And that's my other problem with Mike Tomlin, but they didn't do anything with the 3Bs. Didn't do anything with Bud Dupree, Ryan Shazier. They did nothing with it, man. Like, what happened? We had like one playoff win with all of that talent. And that's clearly a Mike Tomlin issue. People blame the front office. I can't sit here and listen to your as no more. Najee a bust is just unrealistic. All right, dude, stop listening then. Have a good night. So, when it comes to like Mike Tomlin and what he's done, like in the draft, for example, Kenny Pickett, like that's a great example of what the hell are you doing? I mean, that's just a horrible pick. I was watching it on my computer when that happened. I almost punched it because I was so mad. I was like, what? What are you doing? This guy is not that good.
Was it not considered one of the worst quarterback like draft years? That I mean,
Yeah,
the whole talent that year
he
was
was
not
the only first round quarterback taken. He had
Yeah.
small hands, and I guess Jalen Milroe has small hands too. They said 8 3/4, and I think it's from the bottom to the top. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty big. I have I think mine are like 7 inches or something. And like my hands I think are pretty big, but his hands are 8 3/4 and they're small. Like how big are quarterbacks' hands? They must be freaking freakishly big. But
Size of rulers.
yeah. So you know the draft. What he's done with his players. We've had the same freaking story every single year. People call it a purgatory, football purgatory. Kyle Brandt said, I can't find the clip, but he said that, when it comes to Steelers and Mike Tomlin, I think there's a time for separation at this point because at this point in the tenure, they just kind of need to separate, go different ways because he said there are winning organizations in the NFL that do it the right way, they expect Super Bowls. And he said there's a fraternity there in the NFL, and the Steelers are the president of that. Therefore, the Steelers need to move on, and I agree with him. I want a fresh start, man. I want Mike Tomlin gone. I want a new coach. We can do better. Mike Tomlin, go and win a Super Bowl somewhere else, please. Like, I wish that for you. Just get out of Pittsburgh. We need a different coach. This is going to be crazy, but I say we trade T.J. Watt so he wins a ring, and then we build off of that. Trade George Pickens, a diva. Trade T.J. Watt. Trade whoever you need to, man, to rebuild. I mean, I want T.J. Watt to retire a Steeler, but, dude, like, we need to build for the future, and he needs to win a ring. He's not going to win a ring with the Steelers. It's never going to happen. I don't know when we're going to be seeing the Steelers in the Super Bowl again. Now, if Mike Tomlin I've said it in the past too, go get Trevor Lawrence in the draft. Go get Saquon. Go get Micah Parsons. They don't, man. They just sit back there like, oh, we're going to get somebody. And then they go and lose in the first round. It's the same stupid story every single year. And Mike Tomlin's ego is way too high to do something like that. And then someone could take the credit from him. I mean, his ego is insane. I've heard that from multiple sources, multiple podcasts as well, that his ego is through the roof. What they need to do is go up and trade to get Arch Manning or Drew Aller or C.J. Stroud, like I said, I wanted him. Jaden Daniels, but they don't do it. They just sit there. It's the same story every single year. If you think Mike Tomlin is a good coach, you're not a Steelers fan. And you don't watch football, and you don't know football if you think Mike Tomlin's a good coach and that he should be with the Steelers. It's insane. Like, it's the same story every single year, and it just needs to change, man. I don't understand where they're trying to go. So he said, okay, Anthony. All right, Adam left. Adam, why comment that? Just leave. Like, what you think we're waiting for you to comment? Like, we don't even know who you are. Jared, did you know that Adam East was going to comment?
No.
You weren't. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't either. I'm looking forward to what he says next if he's still on. For me, what is scary is you can imagine if Ryan was still healthy and you guys, your current back end with Minkah Fitzpatrick, your other safety, and two corners.
But see, that's another thing. Like, I remember seeing so many stories about. Right, but I'm saying there's so many stories that I heard about, like, when you watch, like, Minkah Fitzpatrick this year, like, they talked about how he was, like, in no man's land, like, on the field. Every time they had defensive plays with Minkah, it was like he was nowhere near where the safety position where he normally plays. And it's just like, how can you misuse him that badly? Like, I'm sorry, but that right there just speaks of, like, what they're trying to not do and not accomplish.
Coaching. Yeah, and here's the thing, man. People talk about Penn State and Franklin and how bad he is. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Franklin wins postseason games. He wins games he's supposed to. He develops players. I mean, I could name like 5 players right now in the NFL that are good, that are playing from Penn State and James Franklin that are actually playing football in the NFL that are good. I can name 5 right now.
Do it.
Okay. Mike Tomlin, he just like the coaching, man. Like Minka has degressed. Pat Fryermuth has done nothing. What has he done, man? Like this Muth chant. Has he really earned that? Like, I don't think he has.
Well, see, dude, listen, there was a difference when they were making schemes with Ben and that line. Like his rookie season, dude, he jumped off the screen. Like I think he had like almost 1,000 yards as a rookie tight end. Had like 6 or 7 touchdown passes. Like he had a heck of a rookie campaign. But then it's like you had him for just a year, and then we had to transition. And again, you're going through all of this carousel bad quarterback play. And it's just like, how can the tight end be used correctly? And then they bring in Arthur Smith, and then you had Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and they would rather use their tight ends for blocking. And Pat's not a blocker. Like Pat actually uses his hands. Like that's the thing. Darnell, he's great. Like I like him when he uses his hands and when he blocks because the dude's so massive. Like he is so huge. I mean, so I get that they don't have the proper schemes. And it's like, that's another thing. When you're talking about coaching and their jobs, they were not executing anything. Like, it was pretty much like Matt Canada again, almost. Like, it was like maybe a grade above what it would have been with him. And, dude, it's just, it doesn't add up. Like, it's crazy when you had the bad defenses you played with the Giants and the Jets and teams like that. Like, you took advantage of it. And then you took on real, actual, Super Bowl contending playoff teams, and then you just got exposed left and right. That's a thing, dude. We're at a point now where the mediocrity has gotten even more mediocrity. Like, it's just, I'm expecting 9-8, 10-7 every time, and that's what you have to look forward to until there is a drastic change. And where is it coming from? From what position or what coach? I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know what's going to happen next with Tomlin, man. I mean, I guess he's staying. I've heard, like, this story is they can't fire him because they just signed him for all that money. I'm just so sick of Mike Tomlin, man. I am. I would rather – here's the thing. I would rather go 2-15, get the first round, get a first overall pick, and then go on and win like the Bengals did, than do this same bullshit every single year.
But unfortunately, dude, and that's the thing. I get what you're saying, but how do we know that it won't be used correctly even then? Like, I'm not saying that they don't know how to do their jobs anymore, but it is a question of, like, what is it that you really want? I mean, you say you want championships every year, and it's like, oh, actions speak louder than words. Where is the action? What action are you speaking of? Because I'm not seeing it on the field. It just seems so preserved. It seems so conservative. It seems so routine. Like, it just seems like the guys are out there just doing a scrimmage. Like, they just seem like they're just going through the motions. I just don't know. There's not a lot of motivation right now, it looks like, on that team. I'm just saying, maybe they already know that this was going to be the end of the season. It just seemed like they just completely went away. Like, everyone on the field, they didn't look like they were there or they knew what they were doing. It just seems so confused. And again, nothing about the gameplay just makes any sense. Doing that over and over and over again. Again, first down run, second down run, third down run, fourth down pass. Like, it's like you're 4th and 10, and like now you just choose to pass, and it's like, to who? Van Jefferson? Some random guy. Like, I didn't even know the one dude that was the wide receiver. I didn't even know we even had him. And they used him more than Mike Williams or anyone like Calvin Ott. Like, I'm like, who is this dude? Like, they just kept throwing to some random dude. And again, that just makes me wonder what it is they want to really do.
Yeah, for me, Anthony said, for me, the whole Kenny Pickett draft for Steelers was because he was a hometown kid. He's from that area around the stadium, University of Pittsburgh. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, we all knew that. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah.
And another thing is he played in Pittsburgh, man. Like, My God, they
I
don't
think
even
we
have
even
their own
covered that
stadium.
one time with it. I think that's what we kind of said too. It's like way back when we
Their
talking about
stadium,
like, why did you get it? Because why? You
yeah,
played in that stadium? Oh, gee,
yeah,
we must have
they
taken
share a
every Pitt
building,
player
but
then.
their stadium is literally banners with Pitt on it. That's their stadium up in Heinz Field or Acrisure. If he gets fired by the Steelers, you guys think he gets a head coaching job right away, or does he become a coordinator first and maybe? Well, if he gets fired, man, he's probably going to be a head coach immediately somewhere else. I don't think he'll get fired. He'll just be let go. He would, again, it's his ego, man. Like, I don't think he'd take a coordinator position again. At this point, I think he's either with the Steelers or he's gone. Maybe goes somewhere else as a head coach. I don't think he'd ever take a coordinator position, and then probably retire, be in the Hall of Fame, I guess. Even though I'm not as losing season. Someone said probably. Mark, for me, I'm gonna say at least you guys have had Super Bowl wins in this century. I'm a Dolphins fan for around your age.
Oh,
Haven't seen a playoff. Yeah, that's true, man. Have the Dolphins ever won a Super Bowl?
they have way back in the early 70s.
Oh, right. Why did I
Way
ask that
back there.
question?
Yeah, we're talking 50 years now. It's been
Of
a
course,
long
they
time.
were the undefeated team. Now, I was thinking that was like not a Super Bowl. That was like a NFL championship or something. But yeah, that was only in '72. So, I mean,
Yeah.
have the Dolphins won a Super Bowl since then? I don't think so. Dan Marino
No.
lost one, I think. Dan Marino was in the Super Bowl. Tomlin has never had a losing season, proving the Rooney Rule. There needs to be a moratorium on all legacy coaching hires. 100% Rooney Rule hires for our Black is Gold community. Tomlin has never had a losing season, proving the Rooney Rule. What? What's he saying?
I'm trying to decide for that myself, but I think he's just talking about what they hired him was through that. Yeah, like they made the Rooney Rule, and that's the thing. He's never had a losing season. And again,
Yeah, I don't think that's what I don't think it was a Rooney Rule thing. He was a good candidate. You know, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know what he's saying, but Mike Tomlin was a good candidate, clearly. Like,
right.
he's turned out to be he's a hell of a winning coach. I mean, but we're just, so.
Well, dude, again, there's two things that go into what Mike Tomlin has always been about. He's always had the Tomlinisms. Everyone loves like how he speaks. He is one heck of a, guy at the podium. Like, he really knows how to spit it out. I mean, he absolutely gets a lot of praise for knowing how to get that, chatter, whatever out of him. So, I mean, he definitely knows how to speak. And number two is everyone loves playing for the guy. Again, he's a player's coach. And again, we talk about all the time where that doesn't really, I'm saying it doesn't go anywhere. I'm just, as much as these guys want to try to defend that, it's like, really, I'm sorry, but this is the Steelers. This is the organization that has always just had so much to praise because they've wanted winning seasons and they've wanted championship seasons. They've won Super Bowls. That's really what it's always should have been the goal. And I feel like a lot of these guys are just more reluctant to say they want to play for Tomlin. And again, I just don't get that momentum because, again, it hasn't resulted in a whole lot.
Conrad makes a good point. He said we have two for sure Hall of Famers on defense. I'm assuming TJ and Cam Hayward. I'm not sure who else he would be talking about.
Yes.
I don't know if Cam Hayward's a Hall of Famer.
I mean, I'm looking right now what he has done for us lately, dude. At 34, 35, and 36 years of age, that man has been on a complete tear. Like, his numbers for every season, like, he is getting around 8, 10, 12 sacks at that age. I mean, that is saying a whole lot. I mean, he's definitely been consistent in his 30s. And I mean, when you pile on everything he's done for this community, like, he won that Walter Payton Man of the Year. I mean, he definitely has some of the better storylines for that whole organization. He is just such a wholesome dude who's so big and so powerful. Like, I think that, his name deserves to be up there with guys like James Harrison, Troy Polamalu. Like from our era, like if you thought of all those names, it's like, yeah, Cam Hayward, I definitely would say Iron Man has definitely earned his place in Steeler history. And yes, he deserves to be in Canton as well.
He said Minka could possibly be one. These three have a Herculean total of 1 playoff victory combined. It is ridiculous. Yeah, that's true.
It is insane.
Again, man,
I just don't get it.
All the talent that Mike Tomlin has had, and they have 1 playoff win since 2016. I think that's when they beat the Chiefs, and then they lost in the AFC title game.
And do you remember how they won that game? Remember how they won that game?
Yeah, it was like, 6 field goals or something?
6 field goals, not a single touchdown. Again, no offense.
I think there was a touchdown by either team, was there?
No. It was field goal all the way. That was the was that who was that? Alex? Oh, is it Alex Smith? Yeah.
Probably.
Yep.
But yeah, so we've had all this talent. 1 playoff win since then. TJ Watt wasn't even on that team, I don't think. Cam Hayward was.
Nope.
Minka wasn't, for
Yep.
sure.
Nope.
And they had more talent back then, too. So, clearly something needs to change, man. I mean, Tomlin needs to go, and that's it. I don't enjoy watching my team. I don't enjoy covering them. Like,
right.
Getting on here and talking about it, man, it's like, I'm like being drugged to talk about it because it's so frustrating, man. Like, what are we covering? What are we talking about here? Like,
but I mean, listen,
we're gonna go get some lineman in the draft, we're gonna suck next year, maybe get a higher draft pick. Like, it's never gonna change, and they're probably gonna keep Russell Wilson, who is not gonna win us a Super Bowl. Like he can't evade pressure. He's horrible with that. He's
he's getting sacked all the time. He holds on to the ball too dang long.
College kid, and yeah, he just takes sacks. It's crazy. Like, it's not even fun to watch.
No. Dude, I mean, listen, you're
solid QB and build on that. That's it.
What did they say? I remember seeing a stat, and this is just so insane. I think they said it has been 19 straight games that the Steelers have not scored an opening drive touchdown. 19 games. That is talking an entire season, and plus last year, you have not started a game where you had the ball and you had a touchdown to start. You have never opened up with a lead. I do not get how that sounds like a formula for success where you hold a team 0-0 in the first quarter, and then maybe you get a field goal and a touchdown to end it with 10 points in the second. Like, the first half, you maybe get 10, 15 points from the Steelers. Like, that's ridiculous how you just allow that to be a thing for the offensive side of the ball. Like, I know you want to show more about how great your defense can stop every single thing that it comes along. But once in a while, I'm sorry, every other 5 or 6 games, can you just open the game up 21-0? Like, why is it so boring for you? Like, I'm just saying, I'm talking about Tomlin right now. It's like, how is it so boring for you that it's like, oh, gee, we're so far up. I don't know if I want to be a part of this game anymore. I want to keep it close. I have to have it on the edge of my seat. Like, dude, when was the last time you had everything going for us? Like, when was the last time you watched them and everything was going right? And it's like they were so ahead of the game. Like, they were completely dominating by the first half. Like, I don't remember the last time I saw a game where I'm like, all right, we're winning this game outright. And it's like every game has either been close. I mean, it's just, it's incredible, like, how they think that it's this way to go.
Yeah, it's very similar to Penn State. Sometimes they start slow. The Steelers do it all the time. Like, you should take it under in every first half game the Steelers have because they're so bad with that. But they always start slow, and then very little is done. Russell Wilson, literally, as soon as a sack is even in the possibility, he's down on the ground. They need a different coach. They need to gut the front office. They need to get a quarterback, like an Arch Manning type quarterback, or trade for, it would never happen, but trade for like a Trevor Lawrence or trade for a CJ Stroud or whatever. But they don't. They've dug this hole, man, and that's it. They've dug this hole. And we all saw it as fans, but they've dug this hole. Again, Mike Tomlin's ego is huge. Big Ben, he had an ego too. He could have helped us. He could have helped set us up for the future. He did not. He did not care about that. Even though at the end of his
No.
career, like, we're going to win a Super Bowl with Big Ben later in his career, like, hell no. 2020 we had a shot, but they blew it against the Browns. So yeah, they've dug this hole, man, and they're in it, and they're trying to make up excuses. They're all at the bottom of the hole pointing at each other like, like, well, it happened because of this, or you need to go and I'm not leaving. And it's like, okay, you guys are all in the same hole right now that you've dug. So you got to climb out of it, and you're not going to. It's going to be the same song and dance every year. So that's it. Like, it's not going to change, man. It's not going to change. Like, it's no way.
Again, I mean, I'm going to watch next season, but do I have any expectations for them to do anything? No. And it's like, until I see them win a playoff game, it's like, then finally, I'm going to say, yes, we're doing something this year. I don't know when that will be, but like, so, yeah, I have absolutely no expectations for next year. Not that I won't watch them and I won't root for them, but it just seems like they are going to do whatever they're going to do, and that's how it's going to go.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to make any changes at all. They're going to draft some scrub in the draft. Like, who are they going to take in the draft, man? Like a cornerback from Miami or something? Like, it's going to be no one we've heard of. You can't get me excited about it. I said last year, if you could do it salary cap wise, which they probably could have, trade up and get Marvin Harrison Jr., trade up and get two picks back to back. The Texans did it. They got Will Anderson and C.J. Stroud. First two pick, like, it was like second and third pick in the draft. That's insane. So what you do is you trade up and you get Marvin Harrison Jr. and Joe Alt. Those are generational players, man. You know, you get C.J. Stroud, and then you trade up and get another high draft pick. I mean, I just don't get it, man. I don't understand the thought process for what they're doing. I don't understand it. Like 2022, for example. 2020. Hold on, I'll pull it up here.
Maybe.
C.J. Stroud was one of the, I believe it was 2022. Right? What draft was it, C.J. Stroud? Was it 2021?
Nah, it should have been 2023 then, if that's the case.
Really? Okay. Yeah, okay, it was. All right, so C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young was taken first overall. You know, he's young, man. They got to give these young quarterbacks time, but I knew that wasn't going to work out. The guy's like 5 foot tall. They should have gotten up and traded for C.J. Stroud. Really, no receivers went high. They could have gotten a receiver in, what was it? Was it the 24 draft when all those receivers went? Or was it 2020?
Maybe it was 2023 or 2022. Maybe it was 2022.
There was like 5.
That was the Jahan Dotson year, right?
Yeah, it was. So that was
2022. Yeah.
All right, so we could have gotten C.J. Stroud. They could have gotten Will Anderson to go on the opposite side of T.J. They don't have a guy on the opposite of T.J. Alex Highsmith should play middle, and then they got Patrick Queen. But like getting Patrick Queen, and who else did they get? Getting Patrick Queen isn't going to win you a freaking Super Bowl. I mean, no,
I mean he was okay. I mean he really wasn't as built as he. You know, we were so excited to get him, and he was good. I mean he wasn't great. It was kind of in the middle of the pack. Like,
all right. Yeah, it must have been. Yep, Drake London was first at number 8.
Garrett Wilson, Chris Jameson,
Garrett Wilson could have gotten Chris Olave, could have gotten Jameson Williams, could have gotten Jahan Dotson.
Yep.
I mean, Penn State usually.
And we got Kenny freaking.
No, we got Kenny Pickett, for the love of God.
Yep.
Who went after him? Jermaine Johnson. They could have gotten Jermaine Johnson. He's a freak.
Yep.
Even though he doesn't really fit our system, but. You know, I mean, good Lord, man. I mean, you talk about opportunities to make some moves and they never do. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many questions, dude, and I don't, like you said, I don't know when they're going to be relevant again. It's just there's so many things that need to go right, and I don't see when it's going to happen. It's tough.
They went what 10-6. We predicted. I think I predicted
12 and
like
4,
14-3
12
or
and 5.
13
I said
4 or
4.
something.
I'm relocating. Just a heads up.
Yeah, so we thought they'd beat KC. At the beginning of the year, man, we thought they had a shot, but
Yeah.
they just totally collapsed at the end of the season, and then they went into the playoffs, literally running on fumes, running out of gas, and then they just lost, like they always do. So,
yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't know where to go with this. I don't know where to go from here. Besides the fact they need to make some major changes. Who's going to be our quarterback?
I mean, listen, this is the smartest they could possibly be. I mean, if they're going to try to
Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, I'll say that. We're not winning a Super Bowl with either of them, but
no, but again, this is where you have to know. This is a tricky one because again, Justin Fields could be an option. I do truly believe this. Like, I'm not saying the dude will get you to the champion. I understand what you're saying, but like, there's certain things that go right when the team does everything the way they want it to. Because if you're going to get rid of Najee, and I think he's going to be gone, I don't think we're keeping Najee. I think Jaylen Warren will be our RB1. So this is my strategy for the draft, personally. I think you go and get that kid Scattaboo from Arizona State. I think we do go running back in the first round. I know it sounds risky, but again,
I would never draft him. But
right. So I'm just saying, here's the theory on that. If you have a fast, mobile running back with Jaylen Warren, who's a very fast running back still himself, still only 26, 27 years old, he's right there in the prime of his career, and then you have Justin Fields, who again, he has more of legs than he is throwing. So I mean, they would use his legs more than anything. So the Steelers, that would be ideal for them because, again, all we talk about with the Steelers is defense and running. So you're definitely in that good spot. I mean, if you bring back Justin Fields and you have Jaylen Warren and a potential first-round running back talent, I know Ashton Gentry will be gone, but that would be the direction I would take because if you're talking about knowing what you're going to get from Justin Fields, I think that's the best way you can ask for them to go and see what he actually can do for a full season. I mean, he's still young, dude. He's only 26 years old. I mean, I think he has so much more to prove. And I know he talks about the players, like these guys wanted to play for him. And you saw the beginning of the season when they were 4-2, how much different the attitude was with them, with the whole team. Like they looked like they were playing very solid football. So I just feel like that's the way they should go.
yeah, I wouldn't want to draft Scattaboo. Just that one game I saw him in, my God, he's already got like 12 concussions. I wouldn't want a kid like that. For me, I would want, if you're going to go running back, I mean, in this draft, we're looking at Ashton Gentry. He's a good pick, but yeah, I agree that they might go running back in the first round, which again, it's not going to change anything. They're still going to be bad next year. And they need way more than a running back. They need a quarterback, but this draft is a horrible quarterback draft. Again,
it is. That's what I'm saying. I just think, again,
push these quarterbacks into the first round. It's so stupid.
It is. But, so this is what I think the scenario is. Like, I think it's the best case scenario if you keep Justin Fields as your running back or your quarterback, and then you have those options because, again, if you know what you got with Justin Fields, maybe you don't have to worry about the future with quarterback because he might be the option you have. Because, again, dude, I liked what I was seeing with the progressions each game. Like, in that first game, he couldn't throw a single touchdown. Like, that was a thing. And then with Denver, he got his first passing touchdown to Darnell Washington. I mean, And then the next games, he was throwing 200, 225 yards. And I'm like, that's all I asked from the running quarterbacks. Like, if you can give me a guy who knows how to use his legs and also give me 200, 220 yards, that is as much as I can ask for. And he only had one interception in that 6 games. He pretty much showed that he has a ceiling, he has potential to go higher than what he has. So, I mean, there's a lot of upside, dude. I'm not saying that everything's going to get figured out by next year, but we need to see what the team will look like healthy. We have not seen that from the offensive line. Like, everyone has gotten hurt at one point and major, and you can tell a lot of them are banged up to begin with, and they need to figure out what they want to do with guys like Broderick Jones and Troy Falaton. I mean, it's like one right tackle, one left tackle. Choose a side. I don't care. So as long as they got that going for them next year and everyone stays healthy, yeah, that's your best case scenario for the Steelers. But again, I don't see them doing it.
Yeah, me neither, man. There's really nothing else we could talk about, Jared. I mean, we could literally talk to
You're right.
face. I mean, you don't think it's going to change. I don't think it's going to change. So, like, what we say means nothing other than it's just our opinion.
Right.
You know? Nothing's going to change,
Yeah.
man. It's like saying, you know, it's like going to like a train track and saying like, "Hey, how about you let some planes land on this and just let the planes go on the train track instead of the trains?" It's not going to happen. Like, you know, it's like
Right.
we can say that all we want. It's not going to happen. Mike Tomlin is a train track, man. Like, he's not moving. So, and they're not changing, man. They're not changing. They're not
right.
changing,
I mean, again,
man.
your metaphor, I think, is almost there. Like, it's the Mike Tomlin train station, dude, and no trains leave. And when the trains do show up, no one gets out.
That's actually a great analogy. The Steelers are a train track, man. Like, they're not gonna, unless, you know, they dig it up and take all the nails out and throw it away, it's not moving. So I don't think anything's gonna change, dude. Like, it's not. It's just they're gonna be in the draft. They're not gonna trade up. The last time they traded up was Devin Bush, and that was a horrible decision. Well, it wasn't a horrible decision.
No, they traded up for Broderick Jones. They were supposed to have like the 21st.
Yeah, I mean, like, they traded up into the top 10, man.
Okay.
Bush.
Yeah.
Maybe if they trade up and get Abdul Carter, they'll somewhat redeem themselves, but it's just not going to happen. Yeah. And Jared, I'm just going to pull this up real quick. I don't think YouTube will kick me off for it. But I just want to like share this real quick that there was a plane crash in Philly, so everybody keep them in your prayers. It fell near Roosevelt Mall. I don't know where that's at. I've been to Philly. I like Philly, but
yes,
it fell in a populated area. And that's pretty bad, man. I mean, there could be a lot of people that have deceased, and yeah, there's a huge explosion. It looked like a missile. So everybody keep them in your prayers, and same with the crash in Washington D.C. and North Carolina floods and the fires in L.A. and just keep them in your prayers. I don't know what's going on in Philly, man. Like, I don't know what the story is exactly. How many people?
Yeah, a lot of thoughts and prayers, guys. Yeah,
I know there were 6 people on the. It was a Learjet. I think it's called. It's a medical jet. There was a girl on board that had gotten surgery, and so that's very sad. But yeah, it's the city itself, you know. That's pretty crazy that it's falling in that area. So yeah, Jared, that should be the new motto is the Steelers are a train track, man. They're going to keep going in that direction. They're not moving. They're not going left or right because they can't. So I mean, Jared, when is it gonna change? I mean, when is it gonna have to change? You know what I mean? It's probably be after next year, right? I mean,
I did. Dude, I mean, we kind of had to be at that point. I mean, you just talked about, like, how many times have they just limped into the playoffs for how many years now? Like, again, you haven't won one since 2017. And if 2021 wasn't a wake-up call, if 2022 wasn't a wake-up call, 2024 wasn't a wake-up call, if this last playoff wasn't a wake-up call, how many calls? Like, I'm just saying, what size does the phone need to be for the entire, like, does it need to be the size of the state? Like, for it, like, just to shake the world, just pick up the phone and realize, change the guy. Like, I don't know, like, I just don't know what else. And I just feel like you're talking about egos. I don't know where it all is, who has the most, like, but dang, I can only imagine what it is like when people are off camera and they just talk about the Steelers organization, where it's like, it's obvious what needs to happen, and they just refuse to do it. Like, they just think that everything is all fine and we're still going to go to games. Like, you know, the fans, they're still going to show up no matter what we do. And I'm not saying they're toying with us, but it's like, man, you're kind of being like the girlfriend in the relationship. Like, we're the boyfriend, you know, the fans, and the Steelers are the girlfriend. It's like, how much do you love me? I want you to prove it right now, because, like, you still show up no matter what I put you through. I mean, it's just, I don't get it. It's so crazy what we're putting ourselves through as fans, because it's one thing when we have the heart attack games where it's so close and tight and they somehow win and we love it, but now we have this on top where it's like, it doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't, because we just know that they're going to go out there. That we know we can basically, like, shouting what's going to happen. You're going to run on first down, and they're going to do it, and they're going to get like 2 yards. You're going to run again, and you're going to lose yards this time. They get sacked back there. Now it's 3rd and 15. You're going to try to do something spectacular, but no one knows what's going to happen, and everyone's looking at each other and wondering, where is it coming from, and everyone explodes. Like, I don't know where else to go with it, dude. I would love nothing more than to see a first down pass and actually execute, but that just seems like you have a better chance of Democrats and Republicans kissing each other. I don't know what else to. It's a lot to digest, dude. It's
Jared, what's up with your picture? You're at like
what is that
right now.
I have no clue, dude. I had to relocate because I just lost charge. So yeah,
I look like I'm on like a futuristic device right now.
That's where my stuff is.
The picture doesn't matter as long as the audio is good. But people, man, there's a lot of people. There's been like 4 or 5 people comment on like TikTok saying podcast equipment should be more expensive. So I don't know if that means so that not just everybody can start a podcast. I don't know. I don't know what it means, but keep them coming. But there was a guy on YouTube, or was it YouTube, Instagram? He was like insulting me. He was like making jokes about my appearance, like all kinds of stuff. And then his profile picture is him like kissing his daughter. I'm like, dude, you're talking crap on YouTube, insulting people with a picture of your daughter as your profile picture. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, savages, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
They just like
takes all sorts, bud.
Yeah. But, I mean, to end it, Jared, like, yeah, it's not going to change. So that's it. We're going to go get some random dude in the draft, someone we probably never heard of, and then we're just going to go into next season limping as we always do. So, again, Steelers and Penn State are in similar positions. Like, who do we have at receiver? We have George Pickens. And that's it, really. I mean, Roman Wilson's good. I'm sorry, Calvin Austin's good. We got Roman Wilson. We got some other random person. Like, what do we got, dude? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. And then again, like the Bengals, they went to the Super Bowl, were 1 game away the next year, and then don't even make the playoffs. You know what I mean? So we're not even to the point where we're deep in the postseason. We haven't won in the postseason for like almost 10 years. So
Yeah.
we're not even close to being relevant. But we don't get a high draft pick. So
Right.
I think it should just be like an honorary thing. Like, hey, the Steelers have been so good of a franchise. Just get a top 5 pick just because you are the Steelers. Just give us a top 5 pick just because we're the Steelers. Say, listen, you guys, I don't know what you're all doing over there in Pittsburgh, but you need a top 5 pick. We're just going to give it to you because you're the Steelers. You deserve it. But nope, we're going to be what pick are we? 20?
I want to say we're again like 19th or 20th or something. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be picking a Hall of Famer in that one, I'll tell you. So, Jared, do you need to get off?
No, I know. I technically don't, but I'm just saying, like, I have exhausted every which way we can go with this. So, I mean, like, again, I'm always going to be a Steeler fan. I'm always going to love my team. I am. But it's just like, if any real Steeler fan can say, after what we have witnessed for the last several years, where it's like, how can you have any certainty, like, or any kind of, like, hope or, like, confidence that, like, we're going to do something next year? How can you even look at what they have and say, like, this has all just been building up to this? Like, I don't see it. Like, again,
well,
I'm gonna root. I'm gonna hope that they do something great, but
we'll do some draft coverage too, this offseason, but
oh yeah, no doubt.
For example,
Yeah.
Can you see this right now?
Yes.
All right, so this is a mock draft by the NFL.com. So they got Abdul at 1, which makes sense.
Yep.
I think the Titans should focus. Again, it's a horrible quarterback draft. I mean,
horrible.
I mean, they got Dory Jackson, who played against Penn State in the Rose Bowl in 2017. But Travis Hunter, dude, if you went to the Browns, that'd be hilarious. I don't think he could play both ways, man. In the NFL, I hope he does. But, bro, is this kid stopping?
Yeah.
Is this kid stopping George Pickens? Is he stopping Zay Flowers? Is he stopping
Zay Flowers? Yeah, I mean that's them. Of course,
Jamar
you got
Chase?
of course,
is he stopping those guys? Like
Jamar
is he gonna
Chase,
stop them?
No.
I mean, is he going to stop them?
They're grown men compared to the guy.
So Abdul 1, Travis Hunter 2, Cam Ward 3. That's an absolute joke. My God, he should be
Giants,
maybe a second round pick. That's it.
Yeah.
Mason Graham, he's legit. Tyler Warren, okay, that makes sense. 2 guys in the top 5 from Penn State.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's epic.
Ashton Genty will not go that high. That's ridiculous.
Play for Pete Carroll.
Shadur Sanders, that's a joke. Yep, Jalen Walker, okay. McMillan, I think he's too high. Will Campbell, that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this is just a horrible. It's not that good of a draft.
Right.
And I think
so 2 quarterbacks maybe going in the
first round.
Yep.
Go ahead.
But we're projected to get Will Johnson from Michigan, cornerback.
Yeah, that'll.
It's a need.
We're gonna win 3 rings with that guy.
like what? Like ring pops? Like I mean.
Yeah. Ring pops.
Yes.
All right, so it doesn't look like there's another Penn State guy in the first round in this one.
Wait, what was the last guy?
Accurate.
Yeah. What was the last draft, dude? I think I saw Penn State's name.
The last
for the
draft?
32. No, for the last pick of the first round. What was the?
Florida State.
Florida State. Okay, I thought I saw a clip of State. I'm like, oh wait, what was that? Okay.
I'm surprised. I see 1 Ohio State guy, 2 Ohio State guys.
Mm-hmm. Michigan.
I thought Emeka Egbuka would be a first-round pick.
That makes sense.
From Ohio State. JTT,
Yeah.
he's projected to be a first-round pick at one point. But yeah, man, I mean, we could see some Penn State guys go high, but the Steelers, they're going to end up, you know, Abdul, I think, is the best player in this draft. I do think that.
Mm.
But, yeah, Will Johnson. Wow. Can't wait.
Yeah. Neither can he. I mean, listen, I'm not saying it's to a point now where you think about guys coming to this organization. It's like, do they want to? Like, I'm just saying, like, if you know that it's going to be mediocre and you're not going to try for any championships, it's like, are you going to get a paycheck? That's the only thing you're going to get.
You made your point about Mike Tomlin and why the players are saying that they want to play for him.
Yeah.
What do you want to say? Say your point?
Well, I mean, I get, but it's just like
Fame career and.
I mean, listen, it's the sacred name of the Steelers. Like, it's the Rooney. Like, we all know the history of why this organization will always be champions and always want champions. I mean, but again, it just seems like we are always missing something, or a side always doesn't look good as the other. Like, I just always love this back and forth thing where the defense is built, but there's no offense. The offense finally has numbers, but the defense is kind of in like that transitional thing. Like, and then there's the coaching. Like, can this guy come up with good schemes? Like, one side of the ball does something great, and it's just special teams was like the biggest story of the beginning of the year, and even they floundered by the end of the year. Like I told you, there was only two names that I basically liked this year was Chris Boswell and Jalen Warren. Like, everybody else, like, yeah, I love Cam Hayward. Like, he still continues to put up numbers at the age he is. So I mean, I love it. But listen, when you put TJ Watt in the position he has been in, where it's like you expect him to do something from one side every time, when you do that, all the defenses are going to figure you out. And they did. They double, triple team him every time, and he just did not do a thing practically by the end of the season. So, yeah, we're just constantly being figured out. There's no real mystery, and we're not trying to, like, hide it. Like, that's the thing. Like, we're doing this, and we're not going to change. Like, and that's what we've seen all the time.
Yeah, man. I mean, we ended season 10-7. I don't know, like, what else. Yeah. I don't know, man. Each season is different. Freaking, they have Mina Kimes on here. My God. I'd rather listen to a 4-year-old talk about football.
I bet she was.
Dude, ESPN, I won't even get into it. All right, projecting roster changes. Yeah, so. All right, so our division, we have Joe Burrow.
Yep.
And here's the thing, man. A lot of people were hating on Deshaun Watson. Like, I get it. Like, nothing legally has happened to him yet. So as far as I'm concerned, he's just a Deshaun Watson. I hope he comes back, man. Like, he's a good player. And then you got Lamar Jackson. I mean, my God. That's what? That's insane, man. Lamar Jackson, probably one of my favorite players ever. He's a freak.
He is.
He's amazing. Joe Burrow, probably the best quarterback in the NFL, I think.
Yes. Dude, if they gave him a line on both sides, they would be in the Super Bowl appearance every year. I mean, you wouldn't even be thinking of Kansas City Chiefs. It's seriously, he's that good.
Yeah, and here's the thing, man. Like, all right, to get into, like, the NFL, if you put people always, they're like, why'd they take Mitch Trubisky and not Pat Mahomes with the second overall pick, the Bears? And it's like, okay, first of all, if Pat Mahomes is on the Bears, he's not Pat Mahomes that he is now. Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes because of Andy Reid, mainly because of the coaching, all right? He's never really had many weapons. He has Travis Kelce. Name one running back from the Chiefs recently. Like, can you name one running back?
What was his name? Claire's. Oh gosh, what it was a two-name
Edwards
last
Helaire.
name, and
They won a Super Bowl.
Edwards
with
Helaire.
him,
That's it.
Edwards
Yes, yeah.
But
Yep.
and then the running back now is the one that I think was
Kareem
in a hit and run. But who can you name on the Chiefs right now besides Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes? Like, who
Chris
do they
Jones.
have, dude? It's Chris Jones. Like, who do they have, man? They don't have anybody, really.
Yeah.
And they're still a freaky team. That's coaching. You know what I mean?
Because of the schemes. Listen,
Pat Mahomes
their
goes to the
defensive
Bears
coordinator
at 2
has been
overall,
with them
he's
for
not
how
Pat
many
Mahomes.
years? Right, but their defensive coordinator has been with them for how many years? And it's like every year he just produces and produces.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like that's kind of shady because normally when you're that talented, you're supposed to. Right, but like you're supposed to have your own team by then. You're supposed to be able to go and be your own coach by then. But he hasn't left. I'm just saying that's very suspicious. Where it's like every year someone gets a name for like a coaching list, like at for next season. It's like not that guy. He's always constantly like with the Chiefs, and they won't get rid of him because he knows.
Yeah. And that's a sign of good head coach, Andy Reid. I mean, dude, you think of like all-time best head coaches. I mean, George Halas was the Chiefs guy, right? Is that George Halas?
I think. I left my phone. I don't know that information off the top of my head.
No, not George Halas. People in the chat. Is there anyone in the chat right now? But you think of like all-time coaches, right? I mean, Vince Lombardi, Chuck Noll, just great coaches, man.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? Bill Parcells, Don Dries. Trying to think of. I mean,
well, but here's the thing,
Mike
man.
Dick
Like
took the Bears.
Hank Stram.
Yep.
But you think of like, great coaches over time.
Yeah.
Chuck Noll, Hank Stram, George Halas, Don Shula, Vince Lombardi.
Yep.
Andy Reid, man, like he may not have as many rings as Belichick and stuff like that, but my God, like for what he has, what he's done, it's just he's one of the best coaches ever. It's not.
Well, I mean, dude, this is really the Andy Reid Super Bowl all over again because again, he was the head coach for the Eagles, did great things with them, just didn't go all the way. He was always there, but never won it. And now it's like he has the opportunity to beat them twice.
And here's another thing too, man, that we've talked about. Mike Tomlin won a Super Bowl with Bill Cowher's roster. So it's just that's another aspect of it. Mike Tomlin, with all of his Tomlinisms and all of his great wisdom that everybody talks about on ESPN and all the other clown shows, what's it produce, man? It hasn't led to postseason wins,
like you said,
Super Bowls. So what has it led to? It's annoying. It's annoying.
Frustration.
Franklin.
It's led to inconsistent. It's led to
Mike Tomlin. Franklin, like he doesn't really like talk that much. He just says what he has to say, and that's really it. Mike Tomlin, he's like, he's got an analogy for everything, and it's like, dude, you're not a college coach, dude. You're not molding men to go on and be car dealers or after they retire. You're in the NFL. You're not. I don't get it, dude. Like I don't understand the Tomlinisms and why they're so great. Everybody thinks they're so great. What's it lead to, dude?
The standard is the standard. It always seems like that's what it comes down to.
Mike Tomlin is not the standard, so he needs to leave then. If he knows what the standard truly is, then he shouldn't be there. So, yeah, dude. I don't know what else to say about it. There's really
Right.
nothing else to say.
Nope. I mean, I'm good to go after that, bud. I mean, it seems like that's a great way to end it.
Yeah. All right, Jared. Good episode.
Yes.
We will see you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. I mean, I know we probably are. I'm hopefully we're saying everything you guys are thinking, because it's like that's what we do. I mean, we try to always give you guys the content we think needs to happen, because we want good things for our team. Like, that's why we love this team. So
yeah. All right, Jared. Thanks for coming on, man. We will see you guys again soon.
yes,
Until next time, guys. Take care.
take care, guys.